Social Security has just confirmed major updates for October, and this is something every SSI, SSDI, and VA beneficiary needs to hear right now. A big increase is on the way, and payment dates have officially been set. For millions of seniors and disabled Americans depending on these checks, this could mean more money in your pocket sooner than expected. But the details matter, and not everyone will see the same change. In this urgent update, we're exposing exactly who qualifies, when the payments are coming, and what this increase means for your monthly benefits. The clock is ticking, and if you rely on Social Security to make ends meet, you cannot afford to miss this report. Stay tuned, because what we uncover today could directly affect your October payments and your financial future. Before we dive deep into these critical changes, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Let's talk about what's really keeping many of you up at night: the changes coming to Social Security payments. I know many of you have been reaching out, asking questions like, will my payment date change? Or how will this affect my monthly budget? Today, we're going to address all of these concerns and more. First, let me explain why these changes are happening now. The Social Security Administration has been working on streamlining their payment system to make it more efficient and reliable. But here's the thing: this means some significant adjustments to when you'll receive your checks. I know change can be scary, especially when it comes to our financial security, but I'm here to help you navigate through this transition. You might be wondering, what exactly is changing with SSI payments? Well, here's the deal. Starting October 15th, the Social Security Administration is implementing a new delivery schedule that will affect millions of beneficiaries. The traditional payment dates you've been used to, some of those are shifting. But don't worry, I'm going to break this down in a way that makes sense. For SSI recipients, one of the biggest changes is the adjustment to the payment calendar. Previously, if you received your payment on the 1st of the month, you might see a slight shift in your delivery date. The new system is designed to ensure that payments are distributed more evenly throughout the month, which helps prevent system overloads and reduces the chance of delays. Let's talk about SSDI for a moment. If you're one of the millions of Americans receiving SSDI benefits, you're probably wondering how these changes will affect you. The new schedule is based on your birth date, but there's a twist: it's not as straightforward as it used to be. The Social Security Administration has created a new algorithm that determines payment dates based on several factors, including your last name and the last 2 digits of your Social Security number. Here's something important that many people don't realize: if you started receiving SSDI benefits before May 1997, your payment schedule might be different from those who started receiving benefits later. This is crucial information that could affect when you see your money hit your account. Now, let's address a question that's been flooding my inbox: what about those who receive both SSI and SSDI? If you're in this situation, pay close attention. The new system has special provisions for concurrent beneficiaries. Your payment dates might be consolidated to make the process more streamlined, but this depends on several factors specific to your case. Veterans, I haven't forgotten about you. The VA benefit payment schedule is also seeing some adjustments. The good news is that these changes are designed to align better with other federal benefit payments, which should make financial planning easier for those of you receiving multiple types of benefits. Here's something that might surprise you: the new schedule actually takes into account geographic location. Yes, you heard that right. The Social Security Administration has recognized that payment processing times can vary depending on where you live and what bank you use. They're implementing changes to ensure more consistent delivery times across different regions. Let's talk about direct deposit for a moment. If you're still receiving paper checks, now is absolutely the time to consider switching to direct deposit. With these new changes, direct deposit will become even more important for ensuring you receive your payments on time. The processing time for paper checks might be longer under the new system. I know some of you might be concerned about potential delays during this transition period. Here's what you need to know: the Social Security Administration has built-in safeguards to prevent any significant disruptions. However, it's still smart to plan ahead, especially for your October and November payments. Here's a real-world example: let's say you typically receive your payment on the third Wednesday of each month. Under the new system, this might shift to the second Wednesday. This might seem like a small change, but I know it can have a big impact on how you manage your monthly expenses. Something that's not being talked about enough is how these changes might affect automatic bill payments. If you have bills set to be paid automatically right after your benefits usually arrive, you might need to make some adjustments. Take some time to review your automatic payments and make any necessary changes to align with your new payment schedule. Let's address another common question: will these changes affect the amount of my benefits? The short answer is no, these changes only affect when you receive your payments, not how much you receive. However, there's more to this story that you need to understand. While the payment amounts aren't changing due to this schedule adjustment, there are other factors at play that could affect your benefit amount. The cost of living adjustment, COLA, calculations are still happening separately from these schedule changes, and I'll be making a separate video about that soon. Here's something interesting: the new system actually has some hidden benefits. For example, the more spread out payment schedule means less strain on the Social Security Administration's processing systems, which could lead to fewer technical glitches and payment delays in the long run. I want to talk about something that's causing some confusion: the difference between payment date and deposit date. Your official payment date might be one day, but when you actually see the money in your account could be different. This has to do with how different banks process deposits, and it's important to understand this distinction. For those of you who help manage benefits for someone else as a representative payee, these changes might require some extra attention. You'll need to make sure you're aware of the new payment dates to continue managing the beneficiaries' funds effectively. Let's discuss the technology behind these changes. The Social Security Administration has upgraded their systems to handle this new payment schedule more efficiently. This is part of a larger modernization effort that should make the whole process more reliable in the future. Here's a practical tip: create a calendar reminder for your new payment date. It might take a few months to get used to the new schedule, and having a reminder can help you avoid any confusion or stress about when your payment will arrive. I know some of you might be wondering about emergency payments under this new system. The good news is that the procedures for emergency payments haven't changed. If you find yourself in a situation where you need an emergency payment, the process remains the same. Something that's particularly important for SSI recipients: the new schedule takes into account months where the usual payment date would fall on a weekend or holiday. The Social Security Administration has developed a more consistent approach to handling these situations. Let's talk about communication. The Social Security Administration should be sending out notices about these changes, but not everyone might receive them right away. That's why it's important to stay informed through multiple channels, including videos like this one. Here's an important detail about bank holidays. The new schedule has been designed to better account for federal holidays, which should mean fewer last-minute schedule adjustments around holidays. This is especially relevant as we approach the holiday season. For those of you who receive benefits through Direct Express cards, there are some specific things you need to know. The payment posting times might be slightly different under the new system, even if your official payment date remains the same. Let's address international beneficiaries for a moment. If you're receiving Social Security benefits while living abroad, these changes might affect you differently. International payments have their own processing timeline, which interacts with this new domestic schedule in specific ways. Here's something practical to consider: if you've set up any automatic transfers or bill payments based on your benefit deposit date, now is the time to review those. You might need to adjust the timing to align with your new payment schedule. For those of you wondering about Medicare premiums that are deducted from your Social Security benefits, don't worry. These deductions will continue to be processed correctly, regardless of the payment date changes. Let's talk about what you should do if your payment seems late under the new system. First, don't panic. There's likely to be a brief adjustment period as this new schedule takes effect. However, if your payment is significantly delayed, I'll share the steps you should take to resolve the situation. Something that's worth mentioning: these changes are part of a larger effort to modernize the Social Security Administration's payment systems. While there might be some short-term adjustments needed, the long-term goal is to make the whole process more efficient and reliable. Here's a crucial point about record keeping. With these schedule changes, it's more important than ever to keep track of your payments. I recommend keeping a simple log of when you receive your benefits, at least for the first few months under the new system. Let's discuss what these changes mean for people who are just starting to receive benefits. If you're new to Social Security benefits, you'll be automatically integrated into the new schedule. This might actually be easier for you since you won't have to adjust from an old schedule. For those of you who use online banking to track your benefits, you might notice some changes in how your payments are labeled or categorized. This is just a technical detail, but it's good to be aware of it so you don't get confused. Here's something important about customer service. During this transition period, the Social Security Administration's phone lines might be busier than usual. I'll share some alternative ways to get information and support if you need it. Let's talk about state supplements to SSI payments. Some states provide additional payments on top of federal SSI benefits. These state supplements might have their own payment schedules that could be affected differently by these changes. One thing that's not changing is the requirement to report changes in your situation that might affect your benefits. The reporting deadlines and procedures remain the same, regardless of the new payment schedule. Here's a practical consideration: if you use a monthly budget worksheet or planning tool, you'll need to update it to reflect your new payment dates. This is actually a good opportunity to review your overall budget and make any necessary adjustments. Let's address something that might seem minor but is actually important: the timing of benefit verification letters. If you need a benefit verification letter, be aware that the new payment schedule might affect when this information is updated in the system. For those of you who help others manage their benefits, whether formally or informally, make sure to communicate these changes to everyone involved. This might include family members, caregivers, or financial advisors. As we wrap up, I want to remind you that these changes, while significant, are manageable with the right information and preparation. Remember to mark your new payment dates on your calendar and give yourself some time to adjust to the new schedule. If you found this information helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with anyone who might need to know about these changes. Don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on all the latest Social Security news and changes. I'll be making more videos about related topics, including the upcoming COLA announcements and other benefit updates. Drop your questions in the comments below. I read them all and try to address them in future videos.